spotlight shines in Trumbull County here tonight as Warren Harding and Howland getting set to face off in week 2 of the high school football regular season. Hi again, everybody. Chad Krispinski alongside Ralph Sandy. And Ralph, as we're getting you set for kickoff for the second straight week, truly a deep-seated rivalry. These two teams very close geographically. There's a lot more on the line than just a win.
Absolutely, bragging rights. A lot like what we saw at East versus Urson. Teams that are located close to each other, bragging rights are important, but a lot of things also at stake. For Howland, you want to get off to that 2-0 start. You want to beat a Division I program like Warren Harding. Other side of the ballgame, Steve Arnold, our new head coach. You don't want to start the season off at 0-2.
We talked to representatives, players, and coaches from both sides and found out just how deep-seated this rivalry truly is.
You know, great programs love to play in the spotlight. Harding likes to play in it. We certainly like to play in it. So we're excited about, you know, being at home, playing a team of their caliber, you know, being a TV game and being sort of the spotlight of the week. And hopefully we can play hard and live up to our expectations.
It's a football game against a rival, a team that we're 0-2 against. So we need to come out and win a football game, plain and simple.
It's really fun being in school, being around this atmosphere, and having people believe in you and people that don't believe in you. Make sure the people that don't believe in you, make sure they believe us after 10 o'clock Friday night.
A lot of spirit going into this game. It means a lot to this community that we come out on top this week.
Man, you just got to go out there and just play. Like, it's just any other game. Can't go out there, you can't think about that you're on TV or anything. You just got to be ready to play.
It's a real strong feeling. I'm just, you hear people talking about it and stuff. You just want to get out there and show people and just get that win for the pride and just bring back Warren G.
So this rivalry has been a rivalry that really took some time off over recent seasons. Of course, it has come back in each of the last 2 years, this being the third. Harding had its way in this series, really, as you look back through the years.
Yeah, overall they have, but recently it's been the other way. Howland winning the last two by, I think, a combined 4 points, so very close. Howland's also won those in 2010, 2011. Certainly want to, if you're a Harding fan, get off to a different start here tonight.
Devion Smith has certainly been the difference maker in this series in recent seasons. In the 2 wins for Howland, 446 yards. Devion Smith has certainly been the difference maker in this one. So let's take a look now at how things went in week number 1. Ralph, you and I were at Falcon Stadium last week. Harding and Fitch getting things underway. A couple of Division I powers here in the area. And certainly Harding came out looking good early on in front of a great crowd over at Falcon Stadium. And it was Warren Harding seeing Fitch with the football as Billy Aaron put it in to put the Falcons ahead 7-0. Later on in the third quarter, Falcons with a 10-7 lead. Tyrese Anderson right through that Harding defense. Fitch goes on to get the victory last week, 24-10. What impressed you, however, about what Warren Harding was able to do?
When you look up and down the rosters, they have a lot of athletic ability, and I think they just have to kind of harness that, put it together for 4 quarters, and Coach Steve Arnold would be proud.
Now, for the Howland Tigers, a much easier go at it in week number 1. And again, it all goes back to number 4. Devion Smith had himself quite a field day against Lakeside. Kicking things off, he'd certainly need to stay hydrated. Devion Smith on the day, 17 carries, 311 yards. He found the end zone 3 times. Howland with a laugher in week 1, 43-16. And again, you talk about Smith. We'll talk about him a lot through the course of the ball game, but an easy win for the Tigers and head coach Dick Engle.
Boy, every time we've seen Devion Smith, never disappoints. Always shows up, and especially in big games like tonight.
We'll hear a lot more from him and from the Tigers and Raiders alike. When we come back, our pregame show continues as we're getting you set for the opening kickoff. Howland and Harding on the MyValleySports.com High School Football Game of the Week.
Have a lot of
Fans continuing to file in here at Howland High School as Howland and Warren Harding getting set to square off as this rivalry is renewed once again here tonight on a muggy night for football here at the home of the Howland Tigers. Hi again, everybody. Chad Krispinski alongside Ralph Sandy. And Ralph, as we do each week, we look back through history and we find this rivalry when it came back just a couple of seasons ago, back in 2010. We'll take you back there. This moment in Game of the Week history, there was 6,000 fans on hand. Harding would strike first. Mikhail Seawood deep to Ed Killingworth. Leaping catch for a 50-yard touchdown, and the Raiders would take the 7-0 lead, but Howland battles back. 6 more for Devion Smith. He rumbles into the end zone from 16 yards out. He had 206 rushing yards on that particular night. Tigers up 10 on to the fourth quarter. Tim Piranha with a deep ball to Dan O'Brien. He races in from 49 yards out. Later, he's in for the touchdown. Howland gets the victory, 25-22. This moment in Game of the Week history again. It was an electric night that night. It's an electric night tonight. You can feel that sort of playoff atmosphere once again here at the home of the Tigers.
Boy, a lot of people hope to recreate that on both sides. And I remember that post-game interview with O'Brien, how excited he was, and it was electric.
There are plenty of storylines as we look at this ball game here tonight. Aside from the rivalry that is at stake, aside from all the bragging rights, there's a little extra here tonight as there are a handful of coaches now with Steve Arnold on the Warren Harding side that spent some time with the Howland Tigers in recent seasons. There you get a look on your screen of the coaches who are now at Harding, previously at Howland. And again, an interesting dynamic, Ralph, as you look at this.
And really, it's a double-edged sword. You know, the players from Howland could say, hey, those guys deserted us. We want to show them, prove that we're the better team, show them that we're going to come out on top. On the other side of the Warren Harding game, a lot of information they know about Howland and Dick Engle, and whether they can implement them there tonight is to be seen.
You think a little extra motivation from the Howland perspective? Well, see for yourself.
It kind of bothered me just knowing that they went over to Harding, and now they're trying to compete against us, and I don't know, it just makes me even want to beat the team even more. It's just not gonna stop the team from knowing that they betrayed us, basically.
I got to know Jeff very well last year, so he was pretty much my position coach. So I'll be seeing. It's gonna be a little bit different seeing him on the other sideline in the black and gold instead of orange and black.
Coach Toth, Coach Greenemeyer, Coach Beck, and Coach Peterson are here. Obviously, they spent a couple years at Howland, and they're here on our staff now. And, you know, those guys are approaching this week just like any other week, you know, and preparing our kids to play on Friday night. But I'm quite sure there's some intrigue to that as well.
So certainly some extra motivation on both sides, as you'd imagine. With Howland and Harding, the emotions will be running a little bit higher based on that particular storyline, Ralph.
Just like in any backyard brawl, the emotions are always high, and I know we're going to have a full crowd here tonight to enjoy it.
In these rivalry games, usually teams will count on some of their marquee players. Let's now shine the spotlight on a couple of those marquee players that we'll see quite a bit from here. You look at LaShawn Daniels. We saw him last week against Fitch for Warren Harding. He had 136 rushing yards, verbally committed to Boston College. And on the Howland side, Devion Smith. But first, LaShawn Daniels. What were you impressed by with what he was able to do?
I think he has that combination of both speed and power, and we saw it especially in the second half against Austintown Fitch. Even though in losing effort, you could see his elusiveness right here, his ability to break arm tackles. Certainly a power back that certainly Howland's defense is going to have to step up and try to stop.
When you talk Howland Tiger football, the name that certainly comes to mind is Devion Smith. Look at the numbers from last week. We talked about them already. 311 rushing yards. He's going to be a Wolverine at the University of Michigan. Well-deserved, very highly recruited, and well-deserved as well.
I mean, you talk about 311 yards, good for some kids for a season. That's on 17 carries, and we've grown up watching this kid as a freshman all the way through, finally here in his senior year, and boy, he is a bruising back that if you're going to come up and arm tackle him, you're not going to get him down.
Devion Smith, certainly a focal point for Howland. Coaches from both sides weigh in on what makes him such a special player.
Well, I coach him. That's probably why he's that good. And obviously, he's been in our backfield for the 4 years that equals his number, and he's a special young man, mostly because of his work attitude and his commitment to team. You know, in a world where it's a me, he's a pleasant young man to be around because he's totally into the team. He's totally into winning as a team, and his acclimates or anything else are put behind him. I think that, you know, everyone should have an opportunity to coach a young man like that. And there's millions out there, don't get me wrong, I'm sure there are. And coaches in the area know who I'm talking about, those special guys that are more special sometimes off the field than on the field, and he's one of those guys.
You know, what he's able to do as a running back is remarkable. You know, he's a talent, he plays hard, he can run you over, run by you. You know, he's a very tough, skilled football player. But off of that, if he's successful, that allows other guys to be successful too offensively.
As you can see, plenty of respect for both of the big-name players. Of course, we also talked a great deal last week about Jalen Powell, some premier players that we expect to put on a show here in week 2.
Big-time players come up in big-time games, and it gets no bigger for these two than right here tonight.
Well, we're getting you set for the opening kickoff. Let's take a look at our keys to the game as Warren Harding and Howland getting set to square off. First of all, born to run. That applies to both sides.
Oh, you talked about it. LaShawn Daniels, Devion Smith, they're going to be the keys for their team. Revenge factor. You look at Harding, lost the last 2 years. This is their backyard. They want to make up for that here tonight. And Warren Pride. It's all about who has bragging rights come tomorrow when they're walking through the Eastwood Mall.
Absolutely, these two teams, the preparation is just about complete. Harding and Howland. Howland trying to make it 3 straight victories over their arch rivals from just down the road. Tigers coming away with a 1-point victory last season in a lightning-delayed football game. Plenty of fireworks expected here tonight. It's Howland and Harding coming at you on the MyValleySports.com High School Football Game of the Week.
This is the Valley, a place of strength and character. This is where we live. This is where we work and raise our families. Toughness lives here. We stand together, and when we're knocked down, we fight our way back. We're a football town. We live and breathe sports. Weakness is not tolerated here. We will not surrender. We are champions. Warren Harding, Howland.
Are you ready to rock? Now hit the spotlights. Out in the stage, your body all night. Look at them boys, having a thrill. Rock this place, gonna rock it 'cause they're so cool. Are you ready? Ready to rock, ready to show this place how to rock and
A picture-perfect night for football as the American Legion Post 700 presenting the Stars and Stripes here tonight as we're getting you set for week number 2 of the high school football season. Warren Harding and Howland facing off. Jam-packed Howland High School. Chad Krispinski, Ralph Sandy with you as these two teams with plenty on the line as we talked in the pregame show. Bragging rights, Ralph, and so much more.
Well, you know it's a big game when you look across the stadium to the visitor side and they have to bring those auxiliary bleachers out to fill up those sidelines. Definitely a packed house ready for a good football game.
Plenty of fanfare here at the stadium leading up to the opening kickoff. Howland fans out in full force, as you would expect. Fans from both sides, really, and plenty of good eats as well.
Absolutely. We walked by that stage. We wanted to grab one. We were a little in a hurry, but maybe there'll be a couple left over after the game.
Oh, that sizzle down there. It's got that distinct smell when you come in to the football stadium. And a familiar sound, a cheering crowd across the way from Warren Harding and to the near side, the Howland Tiger fans. Harding won the toss and will receive. And we will momentarily be underway here at the home of the Tigers. Opening kickoff, ricochets off one of the up men. There's a scrum for the football. No official word just yet, and it belongs to Howland.
A huge swing of momentum right there off the bat, as it looks like it's Ralph Robinson coming up, number 41 with the ball. And I don't know if that's meant to be an onside kick or just a squib kick that happened to hit off. But Ralph Robinson comes up with it and Just like that, Howland, who kicked off, is going to take the first snap of the ball game.
And they'll take over 1st and 10 with some outstanding field position. Let's look at that Tiger offense. Of course, the focal point, wearing number 4, the running back, Devion Smith. He's headed to the University of Michigan, and he's got a big, strong offensive line. The quarterback for Howland is Eric Lockney. Devion Smith and visiting with him. He's very much a team player. He takes the handoff. Smith up the middle, bouncing it to the outside, and written down inside the 30, but there's a penalty marker down. It may come back for a hold.
That was thrown awfully early. I don't know if it's in the territory where it would be a hold. It could be offsides against Harding.
We'll see. Devion Smith ripping one off. Ball is down to the 28-yard line. We'll check it out.
Illegal procedure. Offense, number 5. Still first down.
So the penalty is assist on Brendan Cope. And so back the Tigers up, and it wipes out a major league kind of run for Devion Smith. But you get the feeling he's going to break one at some point, maybe more than one.
Yeah, really one of the most exciting backs to watch over the last couple years here in the Mahoning-Trumbull County.
Defensively for Warren Harding, you see Roger Craig's name highlighted there. That's a player that Howland head coach Dick Engle told me earlier this week he's really, really impressed with. Loves to play in the backfield, great pressure. He's a player to watch. Lockney turns and gives to Smith. Smith brought down at the 44-yard line. He lost a yard on the play.
Right, look at the pushing and shoving after the play. And, you know, you talked about Roger Craig. That time, Craig from his defensive tackle position comes up with the play along with LeBrandon Watson. And there you see Craig the first to hit him. And Craig was banged up last week. We saw him in that game against Austintown Fitch suffering some cramps and was in and out of that ball game. And it's also Devion's cousin, so I'm sure they played a couple games in the backyard where some similar things have happened.
Craig and Kimball. Yeah, there's even more deep-rooted rivalry there when you're related by blood. High formation behind Eric Lockney. Howland with a football, run play. No, I beg your pardon, play action pass. Downfield incomplete. It's Lockney going deep for a streaking Brendan Cope. Great play fake by Eric Lockney. He showed a great throwing arm.
Well, everyone in this stadium and that defense, everybody's keying on Devion Smith, and when you could establish that run game, and obviously you come into this game knowing they've established it, that play fake works well. Lockney unable to put that ball where it needed to be, however.
So it's going to bring up a 3rd down and 15 play. Just underway here at the home of the Howland Tigers. Eric Lockney with an I formation behind him. Lockney turns and gives to Smith. Smith puts his head down across the 45, out to the 47-yard line. He picked up 2, maybe 3, and that's a fired-up Warren Harding defensive group.
Yeah, and it was Roger Craig. Roger Craig is the one that made that tackle, and you see Devion Smith slow to get up.
And that is the last thing that head coach Dick Engle wanted to see. Dick Engle is all fired up.
Well, I don't think he's very happy about the fact that Devion Smith got hit a couple times while he was on the ground.
And that is going to be something to watch. The injury to Devion Smith. This would be a catastrophic loss for Howland if it's anything serious whatsoever. We'll get a look and see exactly what it was.
And Chad, watch the end of this run. Once he gets wrapped up, and again, it's Roger Craig that wraps him up. And watch on the way down. There you go. You get a couple Harding players coming in there late. Chance Harper, number 17, one of them, playing to the whistle. And you could debate whether or not it's a late hit or not, but no flag thrown, so we'll go with not. But I think that's what Coach Engle's a little bit upset about. And it's hard to tell where that injury is. It's a hand injury, maybe? You see him holding that right arm.
Tell you what, though, Devion Smith, one of the toughest players you'll ever find. They're going to have to drag him off the field to get him out of this ball game.
Yeah, and the bad thing for Howland is he is a two-way starter. He also starts at linebacker, so that's a double loss if he's unable to come back quickly.
Brendan Cope into punt, averaging 40 yards per kick. Jalen Powell in single safety to return for Warren Harding. Low snap, Cope handles it, and the kick is a wobbly one, which is going to hit inside the 20, and it'll roll out of bounds at about the 11-yard line. And that is where the Warren Harding Raiders will set up shop. First down and 10, and we see a penalty flag come flying in at the tail end of the play. Perhaps some extracurriculars taking place after the play was over with.
Well, we talked about this being a heated rivalry, and these are the type of things that get started. You can see the coaches on Howland getting their players back. And this is something that the officials need to get on top of early, and it looks like they're doing that so that this is a game that doesn't get out of control.
Yeah, the officials certainly will have their hands full any time that it's a rivalry game. That's the case. The officials are sorting it out. So we're having a lengthy conversation. We have a stoppage of play with 9:38 left. There was some extracurriculars on that near sideline.
Personal foul, number 17, White. Half the distance, first down.
That's John Vickerell, our referee, and it's a personal foul called against Harding.
And that's Chance Harper, the guy that we talked about having that hit that was debatable whether it was late or not against Devion Smith. Also gets caught up in something there on the punt return, so it'll cost Harding half the distance.
I'll tell you what, some of the fans that are down below us were chirping up towards the coaches next door to us, expressing their discontent. So the Raiders have the football, and it is first down with 9:38 left, as the rhythm of the football game has now taken on that of a snail. So we're still having a lengthy conversation.
Yeah, I think the officials are going to both sidelines, kind of giving them a warning, explaining to Coach Arnold what exactly the call was, and also probably giving them a little warning, which they'll do to both sidelines and probably to both captains as well.
So they are going to spot it at the 5-yard line. And out comes the Warren Harding offensive group, which is led by the quarterback Lamar Carmichael. LaShawn Daniels is the running back. Daniels takes the handoff over the left side, and Daniels plowing forward. Good defensive work from that Howland defensive front, as Daniels was unable to get into the open field.
It looked like Christian Neal in that time, one of the defensive tackles, first guy to get there. But again, you could just feel the emotion out there on that football field. Both teams really fired up.
Pickup of 2 on the play, and it is second down and 8. They spot it at the 7-yard line. Carmichael sends out one wide receiver near side to the right. Carmichael turns, gives, run play up the middle. It's ahead to the 10, gain of 3. It'll be 3rd and 5. .846 clock rolling. Let's zoom down to the sideline. Welcome Vicky Magyar with an update on the injured Devion Smith.
Yeah, guys, I got a chance to talk to Howland's trainer about Devion Smith, and they said he's fine. He just hit his arm, and he'll be back in the game real shortly.
And that is the best news that the Howland coaching staff could have hoped for. Nothing serious. 3rd down and 5. See if the Raiders can convert. Lamar Carmichael turns, pitches. LaShawn Daniels cuts it back up the middle of the field, and that Howland defense equal to the task, bringing him down shy of a first down. It'll be 4th down, and the Raiders will have to punt.
Boy, what a nice job defensively by TK Fortson. You see number 23, he's following the play, coming all the way across the formation to make that tackle. And if you're Howland, you get a 3 and out without your linebacker, Devion Smith, in the game. You rest him there, try to get feeling back in that arm, and hopefully get him back in there on offense.
The big fella yelled, and Kruholtz in to punt. And he was banged up last week in that loss to Fitch. Kruholtz out of Denmark gets the kick away. It's a short kick, which is fielded at the 40, maybe the 39-yard line. Tommy Bailey makes a sliding catch. So, 7:39 left to play in the opening quarter. We're scoreless on the MyValleySports.com high school football game of the week. Welcome back to Howland. 7:39 left in the opening quarter. No score between the Tigers and the Warren Harding Raiders. Howland takes over. It is 1st down and 10, and Devion Smith is not in the ball game. He was banged up, looked like an arm or shoulder injury. He has not returned. It's TK Fortson in the backfield for Dick Engel's Tigers. On a delay, Fortson over the right side pushes his way down to the 40-yard line. It's a very short pickup, bringing up a 2nd down play.
And right in the middle of it, all of it, was Roger Craig again. And well, from doing that game last week to doing this game, watching Harding, he's a man possessed here tonight. There you see the big fella in the middle. Roger Craig, 5'10", 260 senior, who came up big a couple times last year in Game of the Week action and is showing up here big time here today.
High formation behind the Howland quarterback, Eric Lockney. Lockney with a long count. Turns and gives to Fortson. Fortson bouncing it to the outside. And he pushes his way inside the 30, inside the 30, down to the 29-yard line. And it's up near a Howland 1st down.
Well, TK Fortson, we saw him on the defensive end, made a tackle from the backside, showed you his speed on defense, gives you a little sample of what he could do offensively. Just a junior. Certainly built different than Devion Smith, but showing you that he can get it done as well by picking up that 1st down.
It is a 1st down from the 29, clock rolling, 6:36 and counting. Fortson, great strength running the ball. Tyler Drass is the fullback. Running back remains TK Fortson. Tigers on the move. Play action pass. Lockney rolling, firing, diving, attempt by Drass. He couldn't haul it in. And it's incomplete, and it will bring up a 2nd down and 10 play.
Well, that time you try to get your up back out into the flat by giving that play fake up the middle. And without having Devion Smith, I don't know if that play fake carries as much weight, but just out of the reach for Drass.
So that'll bring up a 2nd down play. 2nd and 10 from the 29. We're scoreless here in week 2 of the high school football season. Big time battle in Trumbull County. Eric Lockney, one receiver near side to the left. There's movement across, and it is going to be a penalty called on Yeldon Kruholtz. He jumped across. He says he was drawn. Howland Tigers are celebrating.
Coachman, number 87 defense, 5-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
So back the Raiders up 5 yards.
There you can see the hard count and Kruholtz jumping into the neutral zone. A nice job by Eric Lockney with that voice inflection, picking up an easy 5 yards for the offense.
2nd and 5. They'll spot it now at the 24-yard line. Lockney pitches. Fortson has it, bouncing it to the outside, and he's spun down right near the 20-yard line. And another penalty flag comes in. I'll give this officiating crew some credit. They are not allowing any of this chippiness to go on.
And that's good. You got to put an end to that early on and have kind of a zero tolerance policy, and they've shown that here in the early going.
Dead ball, personal foul, number 23, defense, first down.
O'Shea Jackson, the guilty party. And so the Raiders are moving in reverse.
And you saw it there a little bit at the top of that replay, just the pushing and shoving after the play. And was it a huge thing? No, but those are the kind of things you got to call now. So come third and fourth quarter, you don't have an all-out brawl on your hands.
Steve Arnold seeking his first victory as Raiders head football coach. It's going to be 1st and 10 from the 11-yard line. Howland can get a first down without scoring a touchdown. Devion Smith still has not returned. That's the big story early on. More movement, more penalty flags, and this time it'll be Howland called for the penalty.
False start, number 68 offense, still first down.
Clearly more penalty flags than points, obviously.
Oh, there you see the center didn't know the snap count, moved that football and tried to move it back and hope no one would notice, but everybody noticed. So Andrew Rolfe going to get that call, and there's a look at Devion Smith on the sidelines. Not looking very happy. I think you could see an ice bag up underneath that number 4 on that right side.
1st and 15, they'll spot it just outside the 15-yard line at the 16. Eric Lockney turns, pitches, Fortson has it around the left side, and he's going to remain on his feet as he gets back to the original line of scrimmage, or therein. Tried to cut the corner and didn't have much success. As I look at the numbers in terms of Fortson, he's not listed as having carried the football at all in that Week 1 win. He does have 1 catch for 4 yards.
And Chad, you noticed in the middle of that replay, number 5, Brendan Cope, getting caught up in the wash, so to speak, in a huge pileup, and he's slow to get off. Cope is one of the other running backs, also plays both ways on the defensive side at cornerback.
So we have an injury timeout on the field, and it comes with 5:03 left to play in this first quarter.
Now take a look. There he is right there, the front end of this play, and he's going to get caught up in that pile. That's Tyler Drass, excuse me.
So injury timeout on the field. We'll take one as well as Brendan Cope is attended to. No score. Howland and Harding looked locked up in a very physical battle on the MyValleySports.com high school football game of the week.
This quarter of the game is brought to you by Diamond 9.
Brendan Cope walking off slowly under his own power. There will be some great plays through the course of the football game coming up after this one. Ralph and I will pick the Dr. William Woods play of the night. All right, so following the injury timeout, it'll be 2nd down and 12 from the 13 for the Howland Tigers. Again, if you're just joining us, Devion Smith was injured, an apparent shoulder injury, and he has not returned yet in this first quarter. Eric Lockney fakes the handoff, wants to throw, firing right side. Drass makes the catch. It's down to about the 11-yard line, well shy of a first down. It's the second time they've tried that particular play.
And that's tough against the fast defense. Watch Lindell Kimball, number 5, close in after he catches that football. Nice textbook tackle in the open field.
So it is 3rd down and 8 upcoming for the Howland Tigers. TK Fortson remains in at running back. Drass remains the fullback. Eric Lockney brings a man in motion. Lockney with a long count. Turns and gives. Drass up the middle. Fighting his way. Trying to move the chains for a first down. He pushed the pile. Got it close. And it's going to be just a little bit shy. And it'll bring up a 4th down play.
That time you go with the fullback up the middle, little quick hitter, and sees the hole to his right, cuts back, He gets caught up with the official, but you're right. Good spot of that ball. A little short of the first down.
4th and 1 from the 2. Our first huge play of the ball game. Stack I behind Eric Lockney. Lockney loose. Football picked up by the Raiders. Back the other way to the 30, 40. However, the officials will blow this one dead. I'll tell you what. It was blown dead, but that should be a Warren Harding touchdown.
Well,
the officials blew it dead, though.
Yeah, I'm anxious to see that replay because it looked like Lindell Kimball went down on a knee but came up before he touched that ball. We'll have a good look at it right here. There you see the fumbled snap by Eric Lockney. The ball rolling around. Kimball on a knee while he's touching it. Good call by the officials.
Johnny on the spot. That is an outstanding call.
And there's a gassed Lindell Kimball on the sidelines.
So correct me, and I admit I didn't see the knee go down, but that was a big-time defensive stop. Ruff, I'll tell you what. Last week we saw this Harding defense do so many great things deep in the red zone against Fitch. They do it again here tonight.
Absolutely. You know, they are, I think, are ahead of the offense in terms of how far along they are in this system. And they certainly come up big right there. Obviously the offense in a hole here, but Coach Arnold will take it. No points still on that scoreboard.
Give the officials credit. They don't have the benefit of a replay. They were outstanding on that particular situation. Carmichael turns and gives a run play over the right side. And they're just going to, you'd imagine, keep it very conservative.
Yeah, I mean, at the very least, man, you're looking at that first down to give your punter a little bit of room and try to get something going here in a very fast-moving first quarter.
Under 3 minutes left to play in this opening quarter. There's been a lot of storylines. Sean Daniels is the running back. One receiver, far side to the left is split. 2nd down and 8 from the 4. Lamar Carmichael takes the snap, wants to throw. Firing deep down the left side, and it's incomplete. Pass was intended for Aaron Qualls. And it'll bring up a 3rd down and 8 play.
And I think that's the area that we saw last week. We're continuing to see here tonight where this Harding offense really struggles with that passing game.
So from the 4, the Warren Harding Raiders will play as Devion Smith, you saw, has his helmet back on. Will he return? That's the question. 3rd down and 8. Lamar Carmichael takes the snap and gives to LaShawn Daniels, and Daniels is bottled up in a hurry. Tries to work his way to the 10. And he's going to come up. Let's see, looks like about 4 yards shy.
I'll give credit to that Howland defense. We gave credit to Harding for what they did. Howland does a nice job of getting a 3-and-out right there. Their offense going to take over a pretty good field position. And if I was a betting man, I'm gonna bet that we see Devion Smith this next offensive series for Howland.
Kruholtz gets the kick away. It's a high floating kick. And the fair catch is made at the 37-yard line by Tommy Bailey. So, an outstanding opportunity field position-wise for the Howland Tigers. Howland will have it 1st down and 10, and all eyes on the field to see if number 4, Devion Smith, will return to the football game. I see him on the sideline here.
Yeah, he's getting closer and closer to where Coach Engle's standing. Not quite there yet.
Now, it's one thing for him to want to return to the football game. It's entirely a different story whether the coaches say, look, we're going to hold you out for a little longer. Because he's going to try to plead his way back in.
Oh, absolutely. And, you know, they have a lot of doctors and trainers down there giving their best advice to what's best for the player. And Coach Engle going to take a timeout right here.
So timeout on the field. 1:38 left to play in the first quarter. We remain scoreless here. Harding and Howland banging heads once again for the 3rd straight year. Stoppage of play, back down to the sideline. Here's Vicky.
Yeah, there's definitely some cases of some heat exhaustion out here. We had someone definitely have the paramedics out here, so definitely both teams are getting a lot of water and staying hydrated because it's still about 85 degrees out here.
I'll tell you what, the sweat is pouring off lots of folks here in the stadium. They're not even playing. I know you had your tank top on earlier, and of course we had to put the polo shirt on you now.
Yeah, they asked me to put this shirt back on up here. And there you can see players struggling with equipment. We got a lot of injured players here in the early going, a lot of tired players here in the early going, and we're still in the first quarter.
Tell you what, I just did see Devion Smith racing back towards the locker room, and he is perhaps going to get taped up or get some work done on the shoulder. But he is walking his way out, and so hopefully Vicky can keep tabs on that for us and hopefully maybe have an update. Coaches may say perhaps that everything's okay, but there's something obviously going on if he's not back in the football game. 2 receivers to the right, play action pass. Lockney to throw, firing downfield, incomplete. Chris Mays with an opportunity for 6 and couldn't haul it in.
And boy, what a nice play fake that time by Eric Lockney and TK Fortson. Fortson's going to sell this. He's even going to get tackled on the play. Lockney hangs in the pocket. A couple of his passes early on were misfires, but this one is on the money. Mays just unable to come up with it.
Tell you what, I've been impressed by Lockney. Seems like Howland always has a very efficient quarterback. Had a chance to sit down and visit with him earlier in the week. Nice young man. 1:31 left in the quarter, 2nd down and 10. Tigers bring a man in motion. It's a run play to the fullback. It's Grass. Loose football! And it's going to be a Howland 1st down.
Looks like Jack Finch there, number 61, is going to follow his fullback, continue blocking, and he's going to end up falling on this football. Nice job by 61, that offensive lineman. You know, you talk about Lockney, you got a lot of pressure on him right here, Chad. You took their top 2 running backs, Devion Smith and Brendan Cope, out of this game. So you end up putting a lot of pressure on your senior quarterback.
Howland has had a lot of opportunities with some very good field position. You've got to take advantage when you have those opportunities. 1st and 10 from the 25-yard line. I formation behind Eric Lockney. 2 receivers to the right. Lockney to throw again. Stepping up, firing downfield, almost intercepted. On in coverage. It's Aaron Qualls. Pass was intended for Tommy Bailey. So we've seen Howland go to the air maybe a little bit more. And you would imagine that's due in large part to the absence of Devion Smith, who left with the shoulder injury.
I think both Smith and Cope not being in there changes really the complexion of this offense. Obviously, you could still run with TK Fortson, but not have a lot of experience back there with the junior running back.
48.9 seconds left in the quarter. 2nd and 10 from the Harding 25. Eric Lockney, I formation behind him. Lockney fakes the handoff, wants to throw again, looking right side, knocked down. Once again, Chance Harper. He's had a great 1st quarter.
Well, he's been in the middle of a lot, both good and bad. That time definitely on the good side. As you see Chance Harper, 6'1", 210, get up in the air to knock that down from his linebacker position.
3rd down and 10. Tigers break the huddle. TK Fortson remains in there. It's Ross Griffin in a slot. Tommy Bailey split as a wide receiver as well. Lockney to throw, trying to set up a screen, complete to Drass. Drass is dropped inside the 25, down to the 23-yard line. It's a pickup of just 2 yards, and again, the Raiders will take that all day long.
I mean, yeah, I think you're limited if you're Howland what you could do offensively. That time they're going to set up the middle screen. They don't account for LeBrandon Watson being right there in the middle, staying home and making a nice tackle. Get some help with Lindell Kimball as well.
And so I do believe we will have a Howland field goal attempt. Kyle Noble is in to kick. This will be an attempt of 39 yards, but before it's attempted, the clock hits all zeros. So 1 quarter of the books here at Howland. We head to the second quarter with your score. Warren Harding, nothing. Howland, nothing. Second quarter follows these words on the MyValleySports.com high school football game of the week.
Baseball and this quarter of the game.
Welcome back to Howland. All set for the second quarter. Kyle Noble on to attempt a 39-yard field goal. Snap back, ball down, kick up. Well, short, no good. There was some pressure coming up front. And Noble is on his backside. And we remain scoreless here. 5 seconds into the second quarter. We'll take a look and see what happened here, Ralph.
Well, it's hard to see the end of that. It looked like he had good contact, just came up short. But like you said, he was on his butt at the tail end of that play. Whether he got ran into or not, the officials didn't find it of consequence. So Harding offense taking over yet again.
So here comes Lamar Carmichael and company. He and LaShawn Daniels haven't had a great deal of success on the offensive side. Trips near side to the left, one receiver far side to the right. Carmichael looking to go long down the right side, and it's incomplete. Oh my! Striking down the right side was Marcus Boomer. He told me earlier this week, he said, we've got to get the win this week. We want to bring the pride back to Warren G, and he almost was able to make a terrific catch.
We like how the play was set up. Lamar Carmichael looked out to his left to set up that screen look and then went right back down to the sidelines trying to draw that safety over and put that ball just about where it needed to be.
Carmichael will operate out of the shotgun. Carmichael going back to the air. Carmichael floats it right side. It's over everybody's head. Again, it was intended for Marcus Boomer. So Boomer was a focal point at this early stage for Steve Arnold's team. Boomer coming in with 1 catch last week.
I think you can see early on from both of these teams taking their chances down the field in this 0-0 ball game. Both of them trying for a big play. Both of them have been close on occasion, but nothing yet on that scoreboard.
Carmichael with LaShawn Daniels to his left. Carmichael going back to the air. 3rd straight play. Firing, and it's a sliding attempt by Boomer. They went 3 times to Boomer, and he dropped it. And it's going to be 3 and out, and the Raiders will have to punt.
Well, keep in mind, Brendan Cope, the cornerback that probably plays on that side, has been replaced by Ross Griffin, number 10, the junior. And boy, they went to work on it, but with no success that time. 3 consecutive plays thrown at number 10, Ross Griffin, and you go 0 for 3.
And so, Yeldon Kruholtz in punt formation. There you see on your screen, back to return is Tommy Bailey for Howland. Kruholtz gets the kick away. It's a floating kick, and the fair catch is made by Bailey at the Howland 49-yard line. So, 11:30 to play in the first half. We're scoreless on the MyValleySports.com high school football game of the week. First and 10, they'll spot it at the 50. Howland Tigers in business, trying to get on the scoreboard. Run play to the left side. It goes nowhere. Loss of 2 on the play. Ja'Cory Mars was the ball carrier for the Tigers. In to make the stop, Ty Howard for Warren Harding. And what a difference it makes when Devion Smith is not carrying the rock.
Yeah, when one of the best backs in the state doesn't get the football, it makes your defense's job a heck of a lot easier. But a good play anyways that time by Ty Howard. Good looking defensive end at 6'2", 205.
Loss of 3 on the play. They're going to call it 2nd down and 13. Under 11 to play in the first half. Eric Lockney with Ja'Cory Mars in the backfield. Offset eye. Lockney on a delay. And that time it's Mars once again, and he gets back to the original line of scrimmage on that play. And it is 3rd down and 13.
How about if you're Ja'Cory Mars, you're a sophomore in a big game, probably one of the biggest you'll play all season until you get to the playoffs if you make it that far, and you're thrust in there in the spotlight.
3rd and 13. They'll spot it at the 48-yard line of Howland. Ja'Cory Mars checks out. TK Fortson reports back in. Tigers trying to convert. They started at the 50. Eric Lockney takes the snap, wants to throw, looking downfield, and it's intercepted at the 35 to the 40. Midfield, 40, 35, down to the 34-yard line. Aaron Qualls comes up with a big-time hit. And we have an injured Howland Tiger down. On the return, it's Ross Griffin as we take a look at this pick.
Well, Lockney gets hit as he throws. And I don't know if you'll be able to see this hit right here, but someone absolutely laid out Ross Griffin. And there you see the return by Aaron Quall, setting up Harding with some good field position.
So we have an injured Howland Tiger down on the field. And you just hope everything is okay.
And you keep in mind, you're looking at a player down there in Ross Griffin that is the 2nd string cornerback that is playing already. Cornerback for the injured Brendan Cope. So you're going to be pretty thin at that defensive back position. It's good to see him sitting up. Looks like he got maybe the wind knocked out of him.
So injury timeout on the field. 9:42 left to play in the first half. Raiders have it 1st and 10 when we come back on the MyValleySports.com high school football game of the week.
Get ready.
1st and 10. Warren Harding at the 34. LaShawn Daniels taking the pile with him inside the 30 down to the 28. Daniels with a pickup of 6. Chris Mays there to bring him down.
And one of the things we saw in that Fitch game, Chad, is they would give LaShawn Daniels a bunch of carries, give him some time off, give him a bunch of carries again, and he seemed to respond doing that last week. And his 3 and out last series throwing the football. You come back to your run game this time, get a pretty nice gain there on 1st down.
John Coleman is the fullback in front of Daniels, who takes the handoff. Daniels, great strength. Daniels into the open field, and he's gone. Touchdown. 26-yard touchdown run. Raiders strike first.
Daniels gets more yards on that run than he had the entire first half combined. And it comes at a great time just as that interception switched the momentum. And watch Daniels with his vision to cut it back to his left right here. And you'll see the end of this run. And I don't know if he's running his mouth, but he's lucky right there that the touchdown doesn't get called back.
Yeah, you got to be careful, especially with how this game is being called, as Daniels finds pay dirt from 26 yards out. Dominic Jones in to attempt the extra point. Jones puts it up, and it is good. 8:56 left to play in the first half. 7-0 Warren Harding. And that's got to feel good if you're Steve Arnold to get your team some confidence. So many times last year when we talk about Harding The Raiders get down and they face that adversity. They were never able to bounce back. Tonight, to play from ahead, to get that confidence, that momentum, how much does that mean?
Oh, it means a lot, especially for the younger players on this team. I mean, getting the lead in a ball game like this just takes you to that next level. And you see LaShawn Daniels running in right there. And again, I have no idea what he was saying. He could have just been shaking his head. He's a pretty mild-mannered kid off the football field, so I don't want to insinuate he was doing anything that would have drawn him that 15-yard penalty and taken that touchdown off. But like you said, in a game like this, always have to be careful. And on the other sideline, if you're Coach Angle, I mean, you have just been ravaged by injuries here in the early going. And, you know, it's showing because your depth out there isn't what it should be.
.8:56 left. Charles Wargo to kick for Warren Harding. So the Tigers will have to answer back. Wargo with a very short kick. Takes a bounce and is taken across the 20, 25, out to the 27. And great special teams coverage downfield for Harding. Chris Mays on the return, and he went in reverse. Say you can vote for the Big 22, 5 blocks of granite. It's brought to you by Wedgwood. And so the Tigers come out, still no sign of Devion Smith. High formation behind the quarterback, Eric Lockney. One receiver near side to the right. Movement, and a penalty flag is thrown. And I believe it's going to be called against Howland.
Yeah, they're counting. I think they had 12 out there.
So back the Tigers up 5 yards. First and 15 now. Dick Engle facing this Warren Harding team without his big gun. Devion Smith, who does such an outstanding job on the offensive side, but he's a force on defense, as you mentioned earlier. Had a couple of sacks last week that went over Madison. Run play around the corner. That time it's busted free. That's the youngster trying to keep those legs a-churning. Ja'Cory Mars with a great effort, but he still didn't get much in terms of yardage. Busted free a couple of times, but the Raiders were there to make the stop. He tried to reverse his tracks. And there is Devion Smith, and the bad news is he does not have his shoulder pads on. You'd imagine that his night is probably done, Ralph. I don't envision him tossing those pads back on. Do you?
No, I would guess that he went in the locker room, took those shoulder pads, looked at that shoulder, what kind of range of motion he had,
and that look said it all.
Yeah, and I'm sure the doctor, team doctor, made that decision for him.
Lockney turns and gives to the fullback up the middle, and Tyler Drass is shoved backwards. And it's going to bring up a third down play, third down at about 12.
And Chance Harper, who we've been calling his name all night, comes up with another big hit. And, you know, these players tonight, Chad, aren't just grabbing at jerseys. They are laying the wood. And this is a hard-hitting game. I think that's why we've seen so many guys come out of this game in the early going, really on both sides.
Third down and 12 upcoming. Ja'Cory Mars in at running back. Well, we certainly didn't think we'd see him in the backfield for Howland. But the injury to Devion Smith has forced Coach Engle's hand. Lockney to throw, stepping up, and Lockney sees some great pressure up front. And Harding is really Sending the Dogs now. Roger Craig coming through again for Harding.
Yeah, Roger Craig's only 5'10", and he's able to get up in the air and knock that thing down, jumping at the point of attack. And Eric Lockney, even though he wasn't sacked on there, still took a hit, and he's starting to take a beating back there.
6:55 left in the second quarter.
When you get the feeling, Chad, that at this point in the game that, you know, the mindset of the Tigers certainly starting to fade from this ball game. I think it's important for them to, after this punt, for that defense to step back up again before the half, for them mentally to stay in this ball game.
We talked about the energized Warren Harding defense. We saw it last week against Fitch. It's showing up again here tonight. That was the play that Devion was injured in. This defense has been impressive 2 weeks in a row.
Absolutely. Athletic, aggressive, obviously very fast. And I think playing with this lead gives them even more confidence.
Of course, we've talked about this series. Both sides fired up. Devion, see the frustration on his face. Unable to try and help his team. But again, that young man has quite a future, and you've got to think long tonight to not be able to play thanks to an injury, but certainly have got to.
And I think one of the encouraging things down there is he's not in a sling. I mean, they're not taking him to the hospital at this point. So hopefully this is an injury that obviously going to keep him out the rest of this game, but he could easily come back in a week or two and help this football team.
Kyle Noble, punt formation, gets the kick away. It was almost blocked. And it is out of bounds right at about the Harding 46-yard line. And that is where the Raiders will set up shop. First down at 10. Timeout on the field. 6:48 left of the first half. Harding 7-0 on the MyValleySports.com high school football game of the week. First and 10. Warren Harding, run play right side. It's across the 45 to the 46, and it's Kente Johnson coming in. So our first look at Kente Johnson. So we'll see if anything is wrong with LaShawn Daniels.
Could be just giving him a break in this heat, hopefully. Hate to see two running backs hurt.
Pickup of 2, second down and 8. Looks like Daniels is back into the football game. On an end around, run play to the 50, inside the 50, down to the 47-yard line. That's Jalen Powell. Of course, he's headed to Michigan State next year.
And I'm anxious to see where Coach D'Antonio and his staff at Michigan State put Jalen Powell. Recruited as an athlete. We saw him at quarterback, running back, receiver last year for this Harding team. This year strictly at that receiver flanker position. He's good on defense. He's an athlete. And I'm sure that staff will put him where they feel they could best use him. But boy, he could fit so many holes on a football team.
Third down and 4 from the 47-yard line of Howland. Lamar Carmichael will work out of the shotgun. He brings John Coleman, the fullback, in motion. Carmichael will run it himself. He has the first down to the 40-yard line. So Carmichael has put it in the air. That time he used the wheels.
Trey Brierly finally brings him down, but he does bring that element, and we don't see it very often because you have such a good back in LaShawn Daniels. But Lamar Carmichael does have the speed.
First and 10 from the Howland 39-yard line. It's been a hush on the Howland side since Devion Smith went out. Fans concerned, as you would imagine. Carmichael will keep it himself once again. Inside the 40, stiff arm, dragged down from behind at the 38-yard line. Tyler Dress, who doubles as both the fullback and linebacker there to make the stop.
Boy, and he's one of the players that has stepped up for this Howland team. Obviously, you lose your top 2 tailbacks. The fullback role becomes even larger, and you see him here on defense making plays. He's a high motor guy. He's all over the football field.
2nd and 9 from the 38-yard line. Clock rolling, under 4:10. Lamar Carmichael turns, dumps it off to Daniels. Daniels into the open field, breaks a tackle. Daniel puts his head down inside the 35, down to the 33-yard line. He was bottled up, but still managed to get some extra yardage.
Yeah, and that's what you like about him as a back. It would have been easy right there to go out of bounds and not take that punishment. But you could see Carmichael fires it over there, a little screen pass out to the right. You can see the nice stiff arm. That's one of the qualities he does possess as a running back. And right here, it would have been easy to go out of bounds, but you see him cut it back in and pick up another 6-7 yards.
So we have a timeout on the field. 3:57 left to play in quarter number 2. 7-0 in favor of Warren Harding. Say every week we pick the PNC Bank Player of the Game.
At Warren Harding's sideline, Tyler Drass is the injured Howland Tiger. And boy, that's your top 3 backs if you're Dick Engle, banged up in this football game.
And now the question remains, how serious are those injuries? How long will those injuries keep some of those key players out of action? Because you talk about it, this game is one thing, it's a rivalry game, but you still have 8 more football games, 8 more weeks of the regular season to go.
Yeah, absolutely. And when this happens, oftentimes these young guys really have to step up, and they get thrown in the spotlight, and you got to see, can they perform under the Friday night lights? And you know, and that'll tell you the depth of this football team. But boy, right now they're a banged up football team, and like you said, it's only week 2, and Tyler Drass getting up over there on that sidelines, and hopefully, you know, we talked about him being a high motor guy. Maybe that's just cramps.
And I see Cope and Devion Smith relatively close to one another on the sideline. They've both sat down since, but both are very frustrated, and Cope is limping very, very badly. And as we said, Devion is battling a shoulder injury. Tyler Drass, slow to walk off. He's been active, linebacker and fullback. Lamar Carmichael come back out, quarterback, and it'll be 2nd down and 9 from the 38. We're under 4 minutes to play here in the 2nd quarter. Carmichael gives to LaShawn Daniels up the middle. Daniels pulling the pile with him. And Daniels is inside the 25. Such a strong runner. We talked about it a great deal last week. Boston College is getting a special play.
Oh, absolutely. And we talked about his pedigree. His dad, an NFL player, and his brother also on this Harding football team. And that time you see him get to that 2nd level so quick and just lower that shoulder, and he ends up being the one that delivers the blow. Even though he gets tackled, he delivers the punishment.
Well, spotted at the 25-yard line, 1st down and 10. Carmichael under center. Carmichael turns and gives to LaShawn Daniels. Daniels pushing the pile once again, and then lots of black jerseys around him, stacking him up and driving him back.
You see the Harding players there not very happy. They felt that hit was after the whistle, but Daniels just gives the ball to the official and heads back to the huddle. And you touched on that last week, what a quality kid he was in the time that you spent with him.
Yeah, very humble young man, very soft-spoken young man. Both he and Powell, both blue-chip recruits. Devion Smith, the other, out of action with the injury. An outstanding young man as well. Carmichael, screen pass to Powell. Powell, dipsy-doos his way. He's dropped at the 21-yard line.
Well, that's a great open field tackle by Trey Brierly. I mean, you're matched up against a kid who has great speed, Division I athlete. You let him take one step and you make the open field tackle. Coach Engle got to be happy with that.
Most players, when you're face-to-face, eye-to-eye with a major Division I recruit, you feel like you're on an island and you feel you're in a place you don't necessarily want to be. Great job by Brierly for Howland. All right, here we go. 3rd down and 6 from the 21. Big play. It's still just a 7-0 game, but the Raiders are on the move. Lamar Carmichael takes the snap, fakes the handoff, Around right side, Carmichael dropped at the 23. Caleb Dom there with a major league stop. And the Raiders are shut down. And it'll be 4th down, upcoming 4th and 9.
Boy, it's great when your safety could come up and run support and almost make a tackle for a loss.
So there's been a timeout called on the field. Called by Warren Harding, and with 1:45 left, if you're Steve Arnold, following that big defensive play by Dom, what do you do?
I mean, you got to come away with points right here, and I'm not sure the kicking game for Harding, what they could trust their kicker to do, but boy, you'd like to put one more score on, especially when you're up in this ball game, and obviously even emotionally, you're up in this ball game over this team that's have had the injury scoreboard down, and it'd be nice to put one more score, whether it be that field goal or another touchdown before halftime, to really kind of put that nail in the coffin, so to speak, in the psyche of this Howland Tiger team.
All right, so here we go. Here come the Raiders. Here's an opportunity for Howland to really get some momentum back late in the second quarter. However, a conversion and subsequent points can really send things the other way for the Tigers. Lamar Carmichael back to throw, has time, looking right side, and it's caught for a first down inside the 10-yard line. Lamar Freeman moves the chains, and that's the kind of play Steve Arnold was looking for.
And boy, what a nice job by Lamar Carmichael. Just relaxed back in the pocket, takes his time, no pressure, and just delivers that ball right in the soft spot of that zone. And Lamar Freeman, who hadn't had a catch coming in, catches one right there.
And it is 1st and goal. They spot it inside the 10 at the 9-yard line. Lamar Carmichael on a delay, gives to Daniels. He's inside the 5 and wrestled down at the 4. He may have worked his way to the 3. Clock continues to roll. We're under 90 seconds left to play. They're going to spot it at the 4. Great, strong, smash-mouth football for LaShawn Daniels.
Yeah, the tail end of that play, Tyler Drass limps off again for the Tigers. So that's 3 starters on defense that are out of the football game right now in this crucial part.
LaShawn Daniels in the I formation, a stack I behind Lamar Carmichael. And we have a penalty flag that comes in. It's going to be a penalty called against Howland.
Dead ball foul, encroachment, defense, still 2nd down.
So it's going to be 2nd and goal now from the 2. And I have a sneaking suspicion that number 28 may get a carry here. We'll see. Maybe it's Carmichael. In any event, Daniels already with 1 touchdown run. Tight formation for the Raiders. Run play to Coleman, the fullback. Coleman is in. A touchdown.
John Coleman, that lead back that does such a nice job paving the way for LaShawn Daniels, also does a nice job protecting his quarterback when he stays at home. Gets the touchdown.
2-yard touchdown run for John Coleman. Coleman had 48 yards rushing in that loss to Fitch, and he has his first touchdown of the season. Dominic Jones in to attempt the extra point for the Raiders. Extra point try is up, and it is right down the pipes. 38.9 seconds left. Warren Harding has opened up a 14-0 lead here in the final minute of this second quarter.
And really, this side of the stadium pretty quiet. We're on the Howland side. Everyone kind of in shock, not so much of just the scoreboard, but the injuries and the whole package here in the last 24 minutes.
It is a packed house. Talked about fans coming from all over the place to see this one. So much tradition as you look at the drive summary. And that is a good-looking drive. 11 plays, 54 yards. It took over 6 minutes. Nice combination, passing Also rushing the football, a couple of nice conversions.
And I think you look at this Warren Harding team, one of the things they lacked last year was that killer instinct. When they did have leads, they couldn't finish it. And not saying that this game is finished by any means, but when you have opponent on the ropes, you got to continue to throw those haymakers, and a 6-minute drive is just that.
The other difference, I visited and talked with the players about this week, when they got down early on, it was pretty much game over. Steve Arnold has put an end to all of that. Wargo with a line drive kick, which will roll inside the 5, and it goes out of bounds just in front of that pylon. So that's going to give Howland great field position here late. Well, we've got some candidates for those Big 22 Player of the Year honors, one of which will not play in all likelihood the rest of the night. And Devion Smith from Howland, out with a shoulder injury. He's still running on the sideline, but we'll see. One play over the right side, and it is TK Fortson, and he is wrestled out of bounds. He fought hard, that's for sure, and we see another penalty flag thrown in at the tail end of the play. Somebody said something or did something, and I believe it's somebody wearing a Raiders uniform.
Dead ball, personal foul, number 14 defense, first down.
Jimmy Rumpel is the guilty party, and he says, he has his hands up as if to say, what did I do?
I can tell you one thing, Coach Arnold's not going to be happy about. 3 personal foul calls in this first half alone. Yeah, that's 45 yards of penalty you're giving your opponent. You just can't do that, especially when you're up in a ball game like this.
So here come the Tigers, desperate to try and get some points. I formation behind Lockney. TK Fortson is stacked up, and he is driven back, gang tackling. Lots of white jerseys in the vicinity of TK Fortson, and leading the charge is LeBrandon Watson, and we may not snap the football again here in the second quarter.
Boy, to look right there, and I hate to even say it, the TK Fortson is banged up. Limping off the field.
Yeah, you're right. So we have played one half of football here at the home of the Howland Tigers. Your halftime score, Warren G. Harding 14, Howland nothing. Halftime highlights, numbers, and more. Follow these words on the MyValleySports.com high school football game of the week. Crystal clear night here at Howland. Warren Harding leading the Tigers 14-0. Chad Krasinski alongside Ralph Sandy. And Ralph, the story is Harding leading at 14-0, but the bigger story for the Tigers is the health and status of Devion Smith. As we take you back to that first quarter, didn't look like much, but it ended up being a big play here.
And again, you watch the tail end of this play. The whistle's being blown about now. And I think that was a couple plays earlier, but you could see Harding gang tackling, and that's how they came into this with the game plan.
Team numbers look this way. Harding with 94 total yards. Howland really struggled when Smith went out of the football game. Harding defense really did play very, very well last week in that loss to Fitch. That Harding defense also showing up big here tonight.
Well, this Harding defense really is a glue that keeps this team together. Very active. There you see a big hit on the quarterback and then an interception by Aaron Qualls, who gets a pretty nice return, and this led to their first touchdown.
Our miscellaneous numbers look this way from that first half. 4 penalties for each side, 1 turnover for each side, and there you see our score, 14-0 in favor of Warren Harding. As far as passing goes, neither team did a bunch of it, but Lamar Carmichael came up with a huge conversion here. This on a 4th down play, Lamar Freeman making the catch.
Well, that was a big play right there. A couple plays later, they get that in the end zone for the second time.
Let's examine our passers. Carmichael 3 of 7 for 21 yards. Eric Lockney 2 for 9 for just 7 yards. He did have that 1 interception. We knew that LaShawn Daniels would be a focal point for Steve Arnold's team, and he was just that in that first half of play. Look at this strong piece of running.
Yeah, we really like LaShawn Daniels, his balance of power and speed. And right here you see his vision as he's able to cut this back across the grain and get this into the end zone for their first touchdown of the evening.
26-yard scoring scamper. Howland trying to pick up the pieces in the absence of Devion Smith. This is T.K. Fortson. He's a force defensively, but he's being forced to carry the football here. He got banged around as well, as you see there.
Yeah, he gets banged around in this play, and in the last play of the half, he also got banged up, limped off. It'll be interesting to see if he comes back as well.
Rushing numbers look this way. LaShawn Daniels, 58 yards and a touchdown. T.K. Fortson, 6 carries, 21 yards. It all adds up to a Warren Harding 14-0 lead over Howland as we get you set for the third quarter of play. Chad Krispinski, Ralph Sandy with you. Let's welcome back the third member of our broadcast team, Vicky Magyar, who has a boatload of injury news. Go ahead, Vicky.
Yeah, Howland's definitely gotten beat up in the first half, but as you can see, Devion Smith's out here. We also have 2 other players that were still injured who didn't come out. That's number 5, Brendan Cope. I saw him stretching out here, running on the sideline, and of course number 2, Austin Osborne, who I saw he didn't have any of his gear on. So we'll see what happens in this half if he comes back or not.
Yeah, all major losses for Dick Angle's team. I'll tell you what, Devion Smith is on the field right now. He's at the 45-yard line. He's got his pads on. Is he going to return? Oh, what a story that would be for the Howland Tigers. He's coming over to his head coach, Dick Angle. Dick Angle says, are you good to go? Are you ready? That looks like a face of determination on Devion Smith. He didn't have the pads on in that first half in the second quarter and right after he went out, but he's got him on right now, and he's checking back into the football game is Devion Smith. Good move, do you think, Ralph?
Well, obviously the medical staff has the final say. If they feel that he's able to go back in the game, then absolutely a good move, because really I don't think Howland stands a chance without him. And so you get him back into the game. And, you know, the thing that we talked about earlier, the fact that after he got injured, he wasn't in a sling. They didn't take him to the hospital. So you had to think that it was a bruise of some sort, and able to get it loosened up or whatever they did. He's back out there.
And there is Smith. And he's going to get a crack to return this second half kickoff. Sit back, relax, and enjoy some high school football in week 2. Driving kick, which will be gobbled up by Mays at the 10 to the 15. Mays back to the inside to the 20. Mays across the 25 and out near the 29-yard line.
Well, if there was a question about his health, he threw a block on that play. He wasn't just out there as a decoy, so he didn't receive the kickoff, but he was the first one to throw a block at the front end of it. So you got to figure that left side is doing okay.
So here come the Howland Tigers. 1st and 10. Will the return of Devion Smith spark this group? Devion Smith operating out of the Wildcat. Smith out of the shotgun, will keep it himself. Devion Smith trying to cut that corner, and he's dropped.
Well, Lindell Kimball was unblocked, just fought through the block, and boy, Devion Smith had nowhere to go. Roger Craig was going to be there as well. And this Raider defense picks up where it left off there in the second quarter. And again, you talked about Wildcat position, just sweep right. There you see the pursuit of Craig, and Kimball just battles through 2 guys to make that play.
Kimball, of course, the cousin of Devion Smith. Devion telling me earlier this week, oh, this one has some special significance. I'll tell you what, Devion is a little bit banged up, and he's coming to the sideline, and he may not be good to go, Ralph.
Well, Coach Angle's going to be the first one to meet him on the sideline, and you could see that he is not happy. And that could have been the plan. You come out, try it, see what you could do, and then make that decision. And I think that decision is being made for him by Coach Angle.
So Smith will come to the sideline, and he's very, very frustrated. So perhaps we can get a report from Vicky here in just a bit, but it's pretty clear that he's not that 100% healthy. So here we go. Lockney comes back out. Lockney lined up as a wide receiver on the last play when Devion Smith lined up at the Wildcat. But now Lockney back up under center. High formation behind him. Lockney wants to throw, looking right side, floating it downfield, and it is incomplete. Pass was intended for Brendan Cope, who has a noticeable limp.
Well, you're right. You could see him jogging back to the huddle. He's banged up as well, and I think both of these players came out to give it a shot, and I think Cope is dealing with an ankle sprain, and you wonder how much he could even help his team being in that much discomfort.
So following the incompletion, it is 3rd down and a dozen with 10:47 left to play in the 3rd quarter. Howland needs to convert, keep the drive alive, and get some points ASAP. Lockney going back to the air, firing right side. It's tipped up into the air, and it's a diving attempt at an interception, and it is incomplete.
Jimmy Rumpel gave it a shot as he followed that deflection, but that official, that side judge, was right there, and we'll take a look at it here again. Lockney is forced to get rid of that quickly. There you see, bounce off Aaron Quall's head. You can see the ball on the ground. Nice camera work, fellas. But this Howland offense, certainly without Devion Smith, just out of sync.
Number 5, defense, 15-yard penalty.
Well, Lindell Kimball picks up personal foul number 4
and
for the
that's going to be a
Raiders.
first down for Howland.
And this is
what a costly play.
I mean, this is a Howland offense that really is stumbling around right now, and you just give them 15 yards and a first down, and you know, those are things that a good football team just cannot afford. And like I said, it wasn't anything that we noticed. We don't know what's being said or done down there in those piles, but you know, this officiating crew from minute number 1 has had zero tolerance. And
Lockney with a long count. Fakes the handoff again, wants to throw. Lockney firing deep downfield for Cope. And Cope tries to make the catch, but it drops incomplete. He had it in his grasp. Jimmy Rumpel, the safety, blanketing him with coverage. And very nearly a big play for Cope, who's banged up as well. Look at the throw from Lockney.
And Lockney takes one right in the face at the end of that. Good job for him for standing in that pocket. And boy, that was close. And you got a Brendan Cope out there that's going probably 70% with that ankle injury.
There you see Devion taken off the pads. That is, I would bet, probably the end of his night.
And rightly so, it should be. He gave it a try, and that's...
Lockney pitches it to the near side. It's across the 45 to the 47-yard line. On the carry, it's Ja'Cory Mars.
We talked about Mars a little bit at the beginning of this game. Only a sophomore. Probably didn't expect to see a lot of time in this game, but if Howland's going to mount a comeback here, they're going to have to rely on the young guy.
Third down and 5 upcoming from the 48-yard line. Ja'Cory Mars stays in at running back. Eric Lockney under center. Tigers trying to convert. The receiver split to each side. Lockney back to the air. Lockney stepping up. Lockney dragged down from behind. Sacked in the backfield by Ty Howard. It's a loss on the play. It'll bring up 4th down. And the Tigers, in all likelihood, will have to punt.
Well, that personal foul ends up not haunting the Raiders defense. Good pressure right there. Nowhere for Lockney to go down the field. Decides to run it, but cannot unround the long arms of Ty Howard.
And so Kyle Noble in punt formation for Dick Engel's Howland Tigers. Jalen Powell in single safety to return for Harding. Noble takes the snap and gets away a spiraling kick. Powell makes the catch at the 15. Powell puts on a move and has escorted out of bounds at the 21-yard line. So the Raiders will have it 1st and 10 when we come back. 8:38 left to play here in the third quarter. Warren Harding with a 14-0 lead on the MyValleySports.com high school football game of the week. First and 10 for the Warren Harding Raiders with a 14-0 lead. And we have a penalty flag that comes in. And Lamar Carmichael took a hit after the whistles blew.
Number 68, defense, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Andrew Rolfe got off early, and you can see that he holds up right here, trying to hold up Lamar Carmichael. As to not pick up 2 penalties on the same play. He did help hold himself up.
8:36 left in the third. Harding sends out 3 wide receivers, far side to the left, 1 receiver near side to the right. Carmichael takes the snap, bubble screen, complete, across the 25 to the 30. On the receiving end, it's Marcus Boomer, who had 3 straight throws his way in that first half. None of them were complete, but that one was. Gain of 9 on the play, 2nd down. Beg your pardon, gain of 4 on the play. It was 1st and 5 following the previous penalty. Carmichael gives to the up man. It's the fullback, John Coleman. Coleman muscles his way across for a Warren Harding first down. And Ralph, you get the feeling now that Harding is, for all intents and purposes, resting on its laurels, keeping the clock rolling, not trying to do anything too exotic.
Yeah, I mean, you see very 2 different sides of the ball. I mean, that defense of Harding's all over the place, energetic, fired up. And it seems like this Harding offense, very business-like out there, just running the football, able to keep that clock moving and pick up first downs.
High formation behind Lamar Carmichael, receiver to each side. Run play goes up the middle, across the 35 to the 37-yard line. Caleb Dahm in there to make the stop of Kente Johnson. So we've seen Kente Johnson on in relief of LaShawn Daniels. So Steve Arnold getting some of his backups in terms of ball carriers, some opportunities. Following a pickup of 3, it is 2nd down and 7. Jalen Powell is just out of your picture. There he is, back in on the left side as a wide receiver. Play action pass by Carmichael, who wants to throw. He now steps up. He will run. Carmichael has a first down. Down the sideline he goes. And he's out of bounds at the Howland 40-yard line. And we have another injured Howland Tiger down on the field at the 43-yard line.
And that's Tyler Dress, who's been banged up all night here tonight. And I think we have another Howland Tiger down on the other side of the field as well.
And so, we have a stoppage of play with 6:39 left to play in this third quarter. Looks like Trey Brierly is the other injured Howland Tiger.
You see Lamar Carmichael, this is a pass play, looking downfield, nothing he likes, and he's so athletic that he could just get outside the pocket and make something happen. And all those receivers had run their defensive backs off, and a lot of room there on that left side.
So, looks to me like perhaps some cramps. Trey Brierly being worked on. And Tyler Dress I just saw walked off with some help, and so check on him as well. We'll do that when we come back. So injury timeout on the field. We'll take a timeout as well. 14-0 Harding on the MyValleySports.com high school football game of the week.
Get ready.
Trey Brierly being helped off the field. Injuries for the Howland Tigers really mounting here tonight. The biggest one, Devion Smith, injured early in the first quarter. And he returned for one play here at the start of the third and quickly went right back out. Raiders with the football. Daniels stuffed to the backfield. Jordan Radich busting through to make the stop of the future Boston College back.
And there's a kid in Radich right there who's not a starter, probably filling in due to all the injuries here for the Tigers defensively, and comes up with a big play in the backfield.
2nd down and 14 upcoming for the Warren Harding Raiders, who currently hold a 2-touchdown lead. Carmichael fakes the handoff, rolling to the near side, firing on the run. It's cut at the 40, down to the 35-yard line. Mike Dorsey hauling it in. And he picks up a big chunk of that 14 he needed for a first down. It's going to be 3rd down.
We don't see Warren Harding go to the tight end very often, but that time you do. Mike Dorsey with a nice catch and a good game.
Beg your pardon, they're going to say it is a first down, so my mistake. So they're going to spot it at the 34-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Warren Harding Raiders. Far side to the left is Lamar Freeman. In the slot, Jalen Powell. Coleman offset as the fullback. Carmichael under center. Draw play over to the right side. Down to the 25 and the 24-yard line. Kente Johnson. Change of pace back compared to the big bruising LaShawn Daniels. And another Howland Tiger is down on the field.
Yeah, Kente Johnson finishing this run hard as he runs over Caleb Dom. And he's filling in nicely for LaShawn Daniels. Able to get Daniels a break. I don't think it's an injury issue. I just think it's a heat issue. We got the lead issue. Mix some different people in there.
So 5:21 left in quarter number 3. Warren Harding with a 2-touchdown lead. The injured Tiger is Andrew Rolfe, who we'll leave it at that. Say, you can vote for out the chains. Check it out. First down, Raiders. Every break that could be going the way of Harding is doing just that, Ralph.
And I wouldn't even call them so much breaks as they're earning it. I mean, they're finishing off runs. They're going hard right now, knowing that the finish line here is in sight. And, you know, coming off a disappointing loss last week against Austintown Fitch, you know, this could be a springboard for the rest of their season.
Okay, so here we go. Carmichael brings the troops back to the line of scrimmage. It is 1st and 10 from the Howland 25-yard line. They pitch it to Kente Johnson. Bouncing it to the outside. Johnson down the sideline. Working his way towards the goal line. Showing some great speed. And he came ever so close to finding pay dirt. And it is another first down. 1st and goal for Warren Harding.
Well, just when you thought they had him wrapped up here, that there was nowhere to go, he breaks contain. and he gets outside of Christopher Mays, and once he does that, there's not many people in front of him. Again, another sophomore coming up to make that tackle. That's Steven Condillas. But Kente Johnson filling in admirably for LaShawn Daniels.
So LaShawn Daniels checks back into the ball game. Daniels in an I formation, a receiver to each side. Lamar Carmichael turns and gives. Daniels pushing that pile towards that goal line. Daniels brought down just shy. Tell you what, he's a fun player to watch.
I bet he's not a fun player for Kente Johnson to watch. He gets him down there. I think he wants to be in that football game to score that touchdown. But LaShawn Daniels will stay in there.
Second down and goal from the 3 for the Warren Harding Raiders. Carmichael turns, gives, fullback Coleman in, touchdown! Second touchdown of the night for the big bruising fullback John Coleman. And Warren Harding increases its lead. It's 20-zip pending the extra point.
Well, you can see Andrew Rolfe hit Coleman in the backfield, and he just bounced right off it, kept it moving forward, and gets it in for his second touchdown.
Dominic Jones on to attempt the extra point for Warren Harding. Snap back, ball down, kick up, and the kick is good. 4:17 left in the third quarter. Your score, Warren Harding 21, Howland nothing. If there were any questions about how Warren Harding would come out following a disappointing loss to Austintown Fitch last week, they've answered it in a big way. Head coach Steve Arnold and the rest of the players, as you see the drive summary, that's a pretty good-looking drive there, 79 yards in under 4.5 minutes. Coleman capping it off with a 3-yard touchdown run. But head coach Steve Arnold and some of the players told me earlier in the week, he said, you know what? That ball game last week, we shot ourselves in the foot a number of times. That's a ball game we could very easily have come out on top. He said he wanted to see how his team would come back, how it would respond to adversity. They've answered that question.
Absolutely. I think that's a credit to not only these kids, but that coaching staff that Coach Arnold has put together that has kept their mind in it. I mean, you could see from the get-go tonight that they were very determined. Even when they lost that opening kickoff, they had their heads in the ball game. And, boy, all of that hard work this past week showing up right now, being up 21-0.
Wargo to kick it off for Warren Harding. Wargo drills it deep downfield. It's gobbled up out across the 20. Back to the near side, 25, 30. Out to the 32-yard line. And on the return for Howland was Darian Diggs. I beg your pardon, that was Tommy Bailey on the return. And he takes it out to the 32-yard line. Maybe the 33 is where the officials will mark it down. It'll be first down and 10 upcoming. Eric Lockney brings the troops back out. Tigers with an uphill climb now, missing more than one of their big guns. Lockney rolling out. Lockney hit, fumbles the football. There's a scrum for it. And Lockney was blasted from behind. Players fighting for the ball. Officials still with no signal just yet. And Lockney never saw it coming. Raiders are saying it's their football. And it is.
I think Ryan Williamson, a senior defensive lineman, is going to come up with that football. He looked like he was the first one to jump on it. There you see him without his helmet. Got the football but lost his helmet. They'll take that. But there you see Lockney rolling out. Just doesn't feel the pressure coming from the backside. It's LeBrandon Watson with the hit. There goes the ball. And you saw 52, Ryan Williamson, be the first to jump on it, and through all that's going on under that pile, he held on to it.
First down and 10 for Warren Harding. Raiders pouring it on now. Lamar Carmichael pitches it. LaShawn Daniels into the open field. Daniels plowing forward. He is down near the 20-yard line.
And the one thing we talked about LaShawn Daniels last week is he is one of those backs that as the game progresses, he gets stronger and stronger as that defense gets tired. He's able to use that power element of his game to pile on the yards, and you can see a little bit of that right now.
21-0 is our score. Warren Harding trying to tack on 6 more. Riding the rushing ability of LaShawn Daniels. Daniels takes the handoff. Daniels plowing forward inside the 15, and he's brought down at the 14-yard line.
I think you have another Tiger on the ground. Looks like Jordan Radich trying to get up and walk off on his own power.
Talk about LaShawn Daniels, the big bruising back. He comes at you with a full head of steam. Not much many teams can do to stop him. As Lamar Carmichael turns and gives on a drop play. That's Kente Johnson, I believe. That was a misdirection play of some kind. Johnson was dropped immediately.
Mark Goldberg, number 22 for Howland, the first one there.
It's going to bring down second down and long. Going to call it 2nd and 15. Raiders not in a big hurry to snap the football. Lamar Freeman split as a wide receiver, far side to the left. Carmichael takes the snap, wants to throw, firing, end zone. Qualls has it! Touchdown! "19-yard touchdown pass." And the Raiders may have just put an exclamation point on this one. First touchdown pass for Lamar Carmichael this season. And obviously the first reception for a touchdown for Aaron Qualls, and it is now 27-0 in favor of the Raiders.
Aaron Qualls has man coverage out there, only 5'8", but Lamar Carmichael puts that ball exactly where he needed to.
Aaron's snap, it was low, and the extra point try is no good as Rumpel tried to run it in, but he was unsuccessful in that regard. But with 1:58 left in the third, many of the Howland Tiger faithful have headed for the exits following this pretty looking 19-yard touchdown pass. Qualls gets his feet in bounds, and it's a mass exodus here from Howland, or so it seems.
I tell you what, if that element of this offense starts to come around as this season progresses and Lamar Carmichael could start completing some of those little routes, let alone those fades in the end zone, this could be a tough team to beat, you know, as they come together and work together as a team, and a lot of these younger players that they're playing mature. You know, this is a Harding team that down the road certainly will be reckoned with.
Corey Mars is back deep to return for Howland. Charles Wargo to kick it off. So Wargo set to make the approach, and he does. Drills it downfield, and this one is going to roll and roll and roll some more, and it is into the end zone for a touchback. And so 1st and 10 Howland. And if you are head coach Dick Engle now, sure, it's been a very tough night. You've lost some key players to injury. How serious the injury, as you see the drive summary, it's yet to be determined. But in the final 2 minutes here in the third and through the fourth. What's the approach now in a 27-0 game?
Well, that's the thing. You want to stay healthy. I mean, you've already lost 3 or 4 starters throughout the course of this first half and third quarter. And it's also a chance to see what players are going to step up. You know, it's a gut check for this team. And you know, those players that aren't injured, those younger players that are inserted in that lineup, you want to see what they're made out of, because it's a long way to go to the finish line, and they got 8 more games. So this tape will tell a lot to Coach Engel and his staff, you know, the character of this team.
Eric Lockney turns and gives. It's a run play up the middle. It nets very little.
Looks like Josh Barna, the right guard, is slow to get up, and it almost looked like his running back ran him over. He was banged up a little bit earlier in this game, and I think the officials are going to make him come out at least for a play. And had a left hip earlier in the game injury, and you could see here that Ja'Cory Mars basically runs into his own man, and he lands right on that previous injury.
So hopefully everything is okay with Josh Barna. We're back to football here. In the meantime, Eric Lockney turns and gives to the up man. It's across the 20 to the 21-yard line. Ralph Robinson on the carry. Now Robinson is down. And I don't know that I've ever seen a football game with so many injuries in it.
Right. Part of them are cramps, but a lot of these aren't. I mean, this doesn't look like a cramping issue right here. Obviously, Barna's issue is not cramping. I mean, this is a team that's getting physically beat up out there right now.
So Ralph Robinson is flat on his back, and we're going to take his helmet off. And this looks more serious than cramps, that's for sure. Looks like they're working on a right shoulder, Ralph.
Right shoulder collarbone area. That was Robinson's first carry of the game. But you just look at the backfield tonight for Howland. Devion Smith injured, Brendan Cope injured, TK Fortson injured. So there's your top 3 backs. You're relying on a sophomore. You try to give your sophomore a break by putting in one of your other fullbacks and Ralph Robinson, and he gets hurt. Let's take a look at the run by Robinson right here. You could say he lands
awkwardly a bit on that right shoulder.
Yep.
Now he's up, seated on his backside, and boy, they're not going to mess around with that right shoulder at all. He's not moving it at all, and in a great deal of pain. So all the best to Ralph Robinson with a banged up shoulder. Well, he's making his way off the field, back down to the sideline. Here's Vicky. What do you have for us?
What a change of emotions on the Howland sidelines. A few of the players are definitely looking dejected, looking pretty emotional out here, and I think the Raiders are slowly breaking the spirits of the Tigers.
I think the spirits of the Tigers were broken a long time ago, as it's a 27-0 football game now, and adding insult to injury is another injury. So a clock rolling, under 90 seconds left in this third quarter. It's 3rd down and 8 from the 22-yard line. Eric Lockney trying to move the chains. It's a run play up the middle. It's ahead to the 25-yard line. And no further than that. Very active tonight has been Ty Howard, leading that Raider defensive charge.
And Ty Howard's one of those guys, when you look at him, he looks like a Division I football player. He's out there at 6'2", 220, and obviously fast, long arms. He's definitely a guy that has a high motor, has made a lot of plays here tonight.
Jalen Powell in single safety to return the Howland punt. Kyle Noble back out to boot it away as we're under 30 seconds to play in this third quarter. Noble gets the kick away. It was nearly blocked. Jalen Powell makes the catch. Up the field goes Powell. Jalen Powell reverses his tracks. Stutter step. And Powell is going to be wrestled down at about the 50-yard line. Lots of black jerseys swarming upon him. And he is brought down. And it'll be first down and 10 for the Warren Harding Raiders with under 10 seconds to play in the third. Say every week we pick the PNC Bank Player of the Game. It's one player that has made the greatest impact. That player receives a hoodie from Nightline Embroidery and Screen Print. We'll feature the Player of the Game. Final play in all likelihood of this third quarter. Lindell Kimball is checked into the backfield. Carmichael gives to the fullback, John. Coleman wrestled down from behind, but there's a penalty flag down as the third quarter comes to a close. This one is, in all likelihood, coming back, you say?
Yeah, that was thrown early in the area that there was some pre-snap movement, but we'll wait for the crew.
John Vickerell is sorting it out. Got the call. So it is a 5-yard penalty against Howland. And we're going to need Harding to come back out because the third quarter, I think we're going to have one more play in this third quarter. Am I right? They're calling the players back out.
Yeah, they're going to have to snap this ball. A quarter can't end on an offensive penalty.
And so it'll be first and 15, an untimed down. Lindell Kimball is the running back. Lamar Carmichael as another penalty flag comes in, this time from the backside. $12 players on the field.
And, you know, Chad, that's what happens when you have so many injuries and you're getting guys in and out of the ball game and people are going in, coming out injured. You start to get confused, and those 5 yards you just lost, we'll give right back to you.
So first and 10. And at long last, the final snap of the third quarter. Lamar Carmichael turns and gives. This is Coleman. Coleman spun down, and the third quarter is in the books. We head to the fourth with your score. Warren Harding 27, Howland nothing. Back for that fourth quarter following this on the MyValleySports.com High School Football Game of the Week. All set for the fourth quarter. Run play up the middle again. It's the fullback, John Coleman. Coleman muscles his way as it'll bring up a third down play. Chad Krispinski, Ralph Sandy, Vicky Magyar with you tonight. And for all intents and purposes, Ralph, it sounds trite to say, but the ball game was over in the first quarter when Devion Smith went out with the injury.
Howland still had their opportunities, and I think we got to give credit to that Harding defense because they really came up big here tonight when he was in the game and when he was not in the game. And you know, I think this offense has fed off that Harding defense, and boy, they're just playing on another level right now.
Loose football as Kimball coughed it up. There's another scrum for it. It would have been a Harding first down. And it's going to stay with Warren Harding.
Kalen Campbell, the tackle, coming up with the fumble recovery. As you see Lindell Kimball get a carry, he shows you his speed right here. And look like Caleb Dahm coming up with the forced fumble, but the big fella falling on the ball. And like you said, that will be a first down.
Coleman is the fullback. I do believe it's Kente Johnson in the backfield. Run play goes to Coleman. He is stacked up and he's dropped at the 32-yard line. As we're more than a minute into this fourth quarter. But again, you look past tonight and you look down the road now that we'll be through 2 weeks of the regular season, and you just wonder what kind of an impact this ball game has for both sides. A win for Harding gets the confidence, it's the juices flowing, so to speak. There you see Jeff Bayek. Previously, we talked in the pregame, spent time here at Howland.
Coach Bayek's been all over. Was at Hubbard, was at Camel, Howland, now finds himself at Harding. A great football coach in my opinion, and he's going to call that offensive group over there.
$27-0 in favor of Warren G. Harding. Run play, Kente Johnson with a stiff arm. He's ridden down from behind as he tries to work his way inside the 30 with little success. It's going to bring up a 3rd down and 9 play following the gain of 1. You can bet this Warren Harding team would like to stick another one in after losing 2 straight to their arch rival.
I think one of the things they need to be conscious about is injuries as well, and I wouldn't be surprised defensively once they get back on that field to put some subs in there.
Carmichael takes the snap, keeps it himself. Slammed down. Not sure if that was a busted play or deliberate, but it didn't net nearly enough for a first down. So it's going to bring up 4th down and 9.
I think at this point in the ball game, you see Coach Bayek talking to Lamar Carmichael right there. You go for it, you take more time off the clock, and maybe get lucky, pick it up, and you continue this drive, take more time off that clock.
So it is 4th down, and it looks to me like a long 8. Carmichael operating out of the shotgun. Carmichael back to throw, stepping up, firing right side, and Freeman has it for another Harding first down inside the 20-yard line.
Well, it looked like the same pattern, same play they ran earlier on that 4th down to pick it up. Little out pattern. And you could see Carmichael had plenty of time to throw that ball a little bit high, but Freeman does a nice job of adjusting it, picking up the first down, and keeping that clock moving.
$27-0, and the Raiders looking for more. Run play, Lindell Kimball spinning free. Kimball into the end zone. Touchdown.
But it almost looked like Kimball was running another gear than everybody else on that field at this point, as he just found a hole, and next thing you know, he was in the end zone. There you see the handoff. There you're going to see the cutback. Nice spin move in the backfield. And he's just moving at a different speed than everybody else.
Kimball finding pay dirt. And we have another injured Howland Tiger down on the field. It's Chris Mays. Looks like he's cramping up.
I think if Coach Engel can get this team in the locker room right now, I think he would.
So it is 33-0 Warren Harding. How surprised are you at how lopsided this has been? Obviously, the contributing factor, the fact that Devion Smith hasn't played all but maybe 4 minutes in the ballgame.
Yeah, really hard to judge a game like this because he exited so early. We couldn't see what kind of effect he would have had in this game. But, you know, throughout this game, it just seems like this Raider team playing at a whole new level than what we saw them last week. A more inspired group, less mistakes. Obviously, you still have to deal with a lot of those penalties, and I'm sure Coach Arnold will in this next week. But looks like a different team out there.
Dominic Jones on for the extra point. His kick is up and his kick is good. And with 8.5 to play in the fourth quarter, it's Warren Harding 34, Howland nothing. We'll bring you back to the home of the Tigers following this on the MyValleySports.com high school football game of the week. Welcome back to Howland. Warren Harding with a 34-0 lead over the home team Tigers. Ensuing kickoff. Muffed. Loose football. Scrum for it. But who has it? I think the Tigers were able to pounce on it. Jamie Williams picked it up.
Let's look at that defensive unit from Warren Harding. There you see the drive summary, 9 plays, 3:42 off the clock. That's exactly what they needed to do. And finished off by that Lindell Kimball run. But you look out there on defense, see some new faces. It's Coach Arnold subbing a little bit on that defensive side of the ball.
Lockney keeps it to the ground up the middle. And again, that Harding defense, oh so stout.
Javon Provitt that time with the tackle. His big number 72 right there. 6'4", 285, only a sophomore. Had some big plays against Fitch last week from that defensive tackle position.
So it's a pickup. About 2, 2nd and 8 as we're under 8. And again, you don't see a real strong urgency to get back to the line because the Tigers have been really beaten up here tonight in terms of injuries and certainly have lots of football left to play. Run play over the left side, and again.
Well, I think that's Mike Quan Dorsey again, and
yep,
he just stuck his hand out there and brought that back down. It was hard to see who the running back was. It's Mars, and look at that, just grab that jersey, spin him down.
Grabbing a hold was Javon Provitt as well, and it was very spirited after that defensive play. And it'll be 3rd down and 8 upcoming. Lockney with a long count, firing to the left side. It is complete, and a big-time hit at the 28-yard line. Trey Brierly on the receiving end. It's not nearly a first down, and it'll bring up a 4th down, and the Tigers will again send out the punter, Kyle Noble, to kick it away.
There's O'Shea Jackson along with Denzel Beaver that came up with those hits.
So Noble in punt formation as we're halfway home in the fourth quarter. So long count. Punt is caught at the 40, 45, 46, ahead to the 50-yard line. As Hassan Mohammed is on the return. So you can vote for the Big 22. Player of the Year. It's brought to you by Ento.
And there you see Coach Angle, probably as wore out as his players are here tonight. But he's been here before, and a veteran head coach will regroup this week and get the healthy players he can and prepare for next week just like he would any other week.
So they march off the penalty yardage on the punt. And the Raiders may have a new quarterback in there. And I think it's going to be Jimmy Rumpel. It is. So Jimmy Rumpel is in at quarterback. Rumpel keeps it to the ground, up the middle. That's a big-time stick. On the carry, it's Lamont Shavers. In to make the tackle, Caleb Dahm, who we've seen do a lot tonight.
Yeah, Caleb Dahm has to be in double digits tackles here tonight. Unfortunately, when your safety leads the team in tackles, it's usually not a good thing. But he's put in a lot of work here tonight as he comes off the field.
So Rumpel in at quarterback. Also plays safety. Tells me he wants to play college football. Has some interest from some smaller schools as that run play goes virtually nowhere. Brandon Janosic in to make the stop of Lamont Shavers. It'll bring up 3rd down and 9, and I don't think you'll see the Raiders go to the air at all. But stranger things have happened. Rumpel with a long count. Pitches it right side. Kente Johnson trying to cut the corner, and he is shoved out of bounds right at about the Harding 44-yard line. Ron Roherick escorting him out of bounds.
And the officials do us all a favor by by keeping that clock rolling, even though it looked like he went out of bounds.
So Yeldon Kruholtz in punt formation. Back deep to return for Howland is Tommy Bailey. Low snap, but the kick by Kruholtz is a driving spiral taken by Bailey. Out across the 15, and he is swarmed upon and dropped at the 16. With that, we take timeout. 3:37 left in this one. Harding will pick up win number 1 for head coach Steve Arnold in just a few moments. Back after this on the MyValleySports.com high school football game of the week. Welcome back to Howland. Tigers with the football and some new faces into the lineup. This is a run play to the right side, picks up a couple. Looks like we have a new quarterback in there for the Tigers. Looks like it's Jacob Smith in there at quarterback. This is the time of the game when we make very good use of the rosters provided to us, because there's some lots of new faces and names and the rest. Jacob Smith, 5'9", 160-pound sophomore. Tigers, of course, will keep it to the ground as it's across the 25 to the 26-yard line.
That ball came loose, but the officials ruled that it was down.
On the carry was Corey Mars.
I don't know if there's a JV game scheduled between these two tomorrow, but I'm going to have a feeling that Howland will cancel that game. They've gone deep in their bench here tonight, played a lot of players. There you see the total rushing yards, 163 to 57.
And a penalty flag comes in from the far side. It's going to be called against Warren Harding. And it's going to give Howland a first down. So encroachment is the call against Warren Harding. Say, there have been some great plays tonight. As it turns out, most, if not all, have been courtesy of Warren Harding. Coming up after this one, we'll select the Dr. William Woods play of the night. Jacob Smith turns and gives. Run play to the left side. It's Ja'Cory Mars, who's going to be brought down at the 35-yard line. Under 2 minutes left in this one. Of course, you look ahead for both of these teams. Howland will have to get healthy in a hurry. Warren Harding, of course, looks ahead to next week to meeting up with Cardinal Mooney.
A lot of confidence, Cardinal Mooney. Last time we checked, on their way to a victory as well tonight.
Smith gives to Mars, who's dropped in the backfield. As we close in on a minute left in the football game.
Number 78, Eric Riviera, young sophomore there on the tackle. And Ja'Cory Mars, a busy man here tonight for the Tigers.
But a big night for Steve Arnold and the Warren Harding Raiders. We can talk about the injuries all we want. That first win is a special one as Ja'Cory Mars breaks into the open field. You can bet this Harding team wants to keep that shutout intact.
I bet if you asked Ja'Cory Mars if he thought he'd have 12 carries in this ball game tonight, he'd have laughed at you. But that was his 12th carry for 37 yards.
Clock rolling, under a minute left. Smith pitches. Mars, right side, and Mars is going to be tackled. We're going to keep the clock rolling. Under 30 seconds left.
And there you see the Warren Harding fans. They brought a lot of people to this game here tonight, and I bet they're all happy they came.
Isn't that the truth? Reminder, coming up after this one, we'll visit with our PNC Bank player of the game and select our Dr. William Woods play of the night. Plenty to choose from the Harding side as the final 10 seconds tick on down. The celebration can now begin for Warren Harding and first-year head coach Steve Arnold. Warren Harding picks up a huge victory. Within an arch rivalry, the final score, Warren Harding 34, Howland nothing. Back to wrap it up following these words on the MyValleySports.com high school football game of the week.
Central team. Week 2 is now in the books here at the home of the Howland Tigers. What a performance by Warren Harding here tonight. The Raiders shutting out Howland by a final score of 34-0. Hi again, everybody. Chad Krispinski back with you. It's time to select our PNC Bank player of the game. We could have gone a number of different ways, but we certainly couldn't go wrong with the quarterback of the Raiders, Lamar Carmichael. He joins me now, first of all, to pick up a win, a backyard rivalry like this, knowing that you wanted to get in that win column for the first time. How special does it feel?
I mean, it's very special. Me and my teammates worked very hard all week. Coach Arnold was just telling us we really need this. 2 years of losing to them wouldn't be a better way to beat them here tonight.
Things didn't start well, of course. On the kickoff, you turn the ball over right away. Coach Arnold has talked a great deal about overcoming adversity. How is this team better able to deal with adversity this year?
When things go wrong, we just come together as a family. That's all we worked on in the offseason, is come together as a family, and we really showed that tonight.
Talk about your performance here tonight, both with your legs and with your arm. You throw the touchdown pass to make it 21-0. Assess what you did here tonight, managing the game very well, converting those important 3rd and 4th downs.
Aaron Cause caught a great ball. He kept his feet in bounds. I give him everything. It was all on him. And my line did great. Without them, I'm nothing. So that's really nothing else. And 2-8 played great.
Tell me about those conversions on 3rd down, on 4th down. Those are clutch plays that you need to keep those drives alive. What's going through your mind in those situations?
We really need them. The coach was looking at me to make plays, and my teammates helped me to make them plays.
How special is this feeling and that celebration that's going to go on in that locker room?
It's great. It's great. It's great.
Congratulations. Go enjoy this one with your teammates. That's our PNC Bank player of the game, Lamar Carmichael. He finishes with a touchdown pass, really managing the game here tonight, converting a number of 3rd and 4th downs, oh so important, helping Warren Harding to a 34-0 win over Howland. It is, in fact, the first victory under first-year head coach Steve Arnold. It's now time for our Dr. William Woods play of the night. We had a number of different candidates for this. We could have gone a number of different ways, but it is in fact that touchdown pass that we just discussed with Lamar to Aaron Qualls that really was the knockout punch for all intents and purposes. That touchdown pass made it 21-0, and the Raiders rolled on from there to their first victory of the season. So with the win, Harding is now 1-1. They'll meet Cardinal Mooney next week. Howland, meanwhile, drops to 1-1. And the big story for them, all the injuries, the health of Devion Smith, something to look forward to. And we'll keep tabs on that moving forward in the days and weeks ahead. Before we get out here, I'd like to thank some folks who made our broadcast possible. Youngstown 2012. Again, the final score in this one. It was Warren Harding 34, Howland nothing. Till next time, so long, everybody, from the home of the Tigers.